Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my space. My name is Katie, and today's practice is a short Yin Yoga sequence for beginners. Now, Yin Yoga is often advertised as a beginner practice because a lot of the postures can be pretty accessible for the physical body, but they're pretty challenging for the mind. If you're new to the practice, the length of time, sometimes 3, 4, 5 minutes, that we hold these postures can be a really big mental challenge. So for today's practice, we're going to kind of ease into that by taking 2-minute holds to get used to sitting in stillness and to practice kind of the coming back to awareness of present moment, body, and mind. So for today's practice, you won't need any props at all. You can do this anytime, anywhere. But if you are on a hard surface, it might be nice to have some padding via a blanket. We'll start in a nice extended child's pose. So bringing the big toes together, sitting the hips back to the heels, finding a little stretch through the inner thighs. Start to lower yourself down through the upper body. Maybe you just come to forearms today, and this is a good place to work. Maybe you want to come all the way down, crawling your hands forward, or maybe even creating a pillow with the forearms to rest the head on the hands or on the mat. Take a moment to close down the eyes if you haven't already, to drop into the practice, and just to commit yourself to 20 minutes of sort of reflection and relaxation. Letting go of your day, your tension, your worry, breath by breath. Becoming really present with the body, with the sensations of tightness, without judgment. Using the time that you're in this posture to just really sink the body into this experience and to notice how you feel. Using the breath to keep the mind anchored in the present moment. Really experiencing the fullness of the inhale through the belly and the low back, the ribs, maybe even down into the hips. Letting go of anywhere that you're resisting this posture, relaxing the muscles more and more as you start to notice deeper levels of tension, release. Let's take 3 final big deep breaths here. And as you're ready, start to come back up onto the hands, push the floor away to lift yourself away from the floor, and then lift the hips up. Bring the knees neutral underneath the hips. Stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. Let's close the eyes and just take some intuitive movement here with the spine. I'm just not worrying at all what this looks like. Instead, just following what feels good. Releasing that posture with gentle movement. Take just a couple more breaths before we come into the next. And then as you're ready, you'll come to stillness. And from your tabletop, you'll slide your right arm under the left, coming all the way down onto the outer edge of the right shoulder, relaxing the right side of the head to the floor. You can leave your left hand here, or you could crawl the fingertips forward. Maybe it feels good to take the arm sort of out to a 45-degree angle to give yourself lots of space as you melt down and into the stretch for the back of the right shoulder. Practicing patience with each breath and each posture. Patience with the stillness. Stillness is not something we practice often in our Western culture, so use this opportunity to hone that skill. As your body gets more comfortable in this posture, notice if you're pushing anywhere or resisting. And if you'd like to explore something a little bit more, you might take your left arm up and around your back for the last few breaths in this shape. If that's too much or it feels like you're forcing something that doesn't feel right, just come back to a gentler variation. And we'll take our last few deep breaths. And when you're ready, bring your left hand back by your face. If it's not there already, push the floor away again to peel yourself up. And then let's take the right arm to the sky. Nice big open twist. Move slow. You might stretch through the right hand or roll out the right wrist for a moment. And then set that right hand down. And we'll move right into the second side. Slide your left arm all the way underneath the right, coming on to the left shoulder, and then relaxing the left temple to the mat. Whatever feels right with the right arm here. And if you need to adjust through the hips or the legs, take time to make those adjustments until the posture feels right. In the space of these poses, notice the quality of your thoughts and your self-talk especially. See if you can't find a little more kindness in your own mind. Softening the judge. Letting go of anything that's limiting or heavy. For your last few breaths of this posture, if you'd like to wrap the right arm up and around the back to get a little opening across the chest, now would be a good time. And wherever you are, take about 3 more deep breaths there. As you're ready, bringing the right hand back by the face if it's not there already. Push the floor away to peel yourself up and take the left arm all the way to the sky. Maybe you stretch through the left hand, maybe you roll out that left wrist. And then we'll let the hand float back to the floor. Let's walk your hands forward, and we're gonna take the knees back and lower the hips coming onto the belly. Come all the way down onto your forearms and stack your shoulders over your elbows so that we come to Sphinx Pose. In Sphinx, you can take a second to wiggle out through the hips. If there's tension in the low back, try lifting one leg and pointing the toes towards the corner of the mat behind you, and then doing the same with the other side, creating a little bit more space in the sacrum. Find a spot where the bones of the arms are really holding you in this posture, and then just sink everything else in. We'll take about 2 minutes here to relax the body into this heart opener, gentle and healthy compression for the joints in the low back. Notice if you're squeezing your glutes or if there's tightness across the jaw, the forehead, any other areas of the face. The Yin practice is an invitation to soften. When we learn to soften the body, we find a little bit more softness in our attitude towards life, more softness in the mind. And you can stay exactly as you are, or for your last few breaths, you might come up to what we call seal pose, taking your hands wider, pushing the arms straight, getting a little bit more lift. If that feels restrictive, then just come back down to the elbows. And in either posture, just take 3 final breaths. As you're ready, come all the way down to the belly. Turn the head to one side and bring the hands back by the hips. Let your shoulders melt down. Give the hips a little wiggle here. Maybe it feels good to pick up the feet and just slowly windshield wiper the feet side to side. And if your feet are in the air, release them. And then we'll just roll from here onto our back. So nothing fancy, just come through and onto your back. And you can leave your blanket there in the middle of the mat, or you can pull it out from underneath you if you've got one there. As we come onto the back, we'll plant both feet and then cross your left ankle to the top of your right knee and push the left knee forward. Now, if this is already pretty intense in your hips, you can stay exactly like this. Maybe even using the left hand on the left thigh to push the hip lightly forward to find stretch in that outer hip. If you're not feeling much sensation here, you could pick this entire shape up and thread the hands through that hole you've created, interlacing the fingers to the back of the right thigh. Just make sure that you don't have to lift your head and neck to get there. And even if you do, see if you can't relax the head and neck back to the mat. And letting yourself melt into this reclining sleeping swan variation or figure 4 pose. And just breathe into the sensation that you've created in that outer left hip. Notice if you're fighting this posture. And if you notice that sort of pushing or fighting, just give up a little bit of that fight. Relax through both feet, both ankles. You can stay as you are for the last few breaths of this posture, or if you'd like to take it somewhere a little bit more different, you could kick the right foot up to the sky. Maybe you walk your hands up and you can grab behind the calf, the ankle. If you're really feeling flexible today, maybe you could grab for the edges of the foot. Never forcing, just exploring, taking last few breaths wherever you are. And as you're ready, if that right foot's up in the air, release the foot all the way to the mat. So releasing the hands. Keep this shape. Take a breath in. And then you're just going to rotate this entire shape to the right until that left foot plants on the floor. Reach down with your right hand, grab that ankle, and then roll your left shoulder open and turn your gaze to the left. Closing the eyes, coming back into the breath, back into the body. If this is too intense, holding the ankle with the right foot, you can release. Maybe it feels better for you to let the knee drop towards the floor instead. Every time you notice your mind wandering, you just shepherd your awareness back to the body, back to the breath, without judgment or criticism of the wandering mind. Take your last 3 breaths here. Big inhales, big exhales. And when you're ready, roll back to your back. Release that left leg. Maybe it feels good to shake or pedal that left leg out in the air to release the tension that might have built in that left hip. Bring the left foot back to the mat. Take a moment here to just close the eyes and notice the difference. And then as you're ready, you'll cross the right ankle to the top of the left knee, the bottom of the left thigh. Push that right knee forward. Maybe you just use your hand or your fingertips to push that right thigh forward. And maybe that's enough for you today. Let that be enough if it's already intense. If you'd like a little bit more sensation in this posture, bring the whole shape in and interlace the fingers to the back of the left thigh, or if you're really flexible, you could even go to the top of the shin. In Yin Yoga, we're only looking for about 70% of the possible stretch capacity, so there's no need to push or force things to the edge. In fact, that's less effective for mobility, flexibility, hydration of these fascial planes. So find a spot where you can really be calm, where you can stay present and centered. Relaxing through both feet, both ankles, relaxing the shoulders, the muscles of the neck. Melting into the edge of the sensation. Maybe you can start to notice the edges of that sensation start to dissolve, blur, breath by breath. And so for our last few breaths in this posture, you can stay exactly as you are. If good work is happening here, stay here. If you'd like to see where else you can find sensation, you might kick the left foot to the sky. Maybe you move your hands up behind that calf. Just check that you're not inviting too much yang energy, too much effort into whatever variation you've taken. Will always be a little bit of sort of that yang energy in the yin. Let's take our last few breaths wherever you are. And then as you're ready, release that left foot all the way back to the floor. And maintain this shape. You can kind of reset. Take a big, deep inhale, laying flat on the back with the legs in this figure 4. And then on the exhale, drop that whole shape to the left until the right foot plants flat to the floor. You can reach your left hand down and grab your right ankle. This can help you find that little space right there in the piriformis. And then rotate the right shoulder open and gaze to the right side. And always an option to keep the neck to neutral, to release the clasp from the hand to the foot, even to let the knee drop down and up if that feels better instead of pushing forward. So just enjoy the twist that you have found. Make an effort to do less, to effort less. Allow yourself to lean into the sensation that you're feeling as if you were laying into a hammock rather than pushing against a wall. Let's take our last 3 deep breaths in this shape. Really dragging out the exhales, enjoying depth and sensation of the breath. Rolling back to the back when you're ready. Releasing that right leg, maybe giving it a shake or nice big bicycle pedals in the air. To get blood circulating back into wherever the tension was in that twist. Last posture from the back, we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall open wide. You can take your hands to the front of your body, and if you need a little bit more support, you might walk your shoulder blades together underneath you. This creates a lift in the low back that can help the front of the hips to open a little bit more. If that feels crunchy or just no good in your body, make sure that you find a space that feels safe instead. So just making little adjustments. And just relaxing here as best you can. If this is really intense, maybe you pause the video and go get some throw pillows from your couch or yoga blocks if you have them and prop up underneath the outer edges of the thighs. We'll just be here for 2 minutes, so relax as much as you can. Yin Yoga teaches us how to meet the body where it's at today. In any given moment, just be content with what is. This is the most powerful part of the Yin practice, is honing the ability to let go of how we fight ourselves, how we fight life. To accept, allow, and befriend the life and the body that we're in. Take your last few deep breaths here in our final posture. As you're ready, take one more big deep inhale. And then a big open mouth cleansing sigh. Use your hands to help close the knees like a book. Ooh, legs might be a little creaky. And then roll yourself over onto one side. Just coming to fetal position, taking a moment here. Just let the spine become neutral to seal your practice in this shape that we first took in our human body. And then as you're ready, peel yourself up off of the floor and come to seated. Take a moment, just an easy position, however you want to sit, to close your eyes and reflect. Reflect on the experience of your practice. Reflect on how you feel. Reflect on anything you might want to take away or remember from this session. And we'll seal our practice with one final breath together. Bring the hands in front of the heart, bow the head. Empty your lungs fully. And then pour the breath in slowly from the bottom all the way to the top, filling up, holding when you get there. Feeling the discomfort build as you contain this inhale. The power of the prana, the life force energy, the pressure in your lungs. Be patient with this discomfort. Pause and hold for just another moment more. When you're ready, big open mouth exhale, release the hands, and blink open your eyes. Thank you so much for trying the Yin Yoga practice with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to try a longer Yin practice, you can check out any one of my other videos or my on-demand library, where I've got full-length 60 and 75-minute Yin sessions for a big, deep, full-body release. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope to see you again very soon. Namaste.